Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi. How you doing? How's everything going? Family, we have made so many leaps and bounds as a people in the last couple of years. As I've talked about previously, from around 2020, it's like we hit a certain tipping point where the ancient ones and the ancestors awakened, and then we were forced into a timeout, which was the best thing that ever happened to us with the lockdowns. Because all things are always working for our good, family. All things are always working for our good. And there is so much that is changing, especially about our narrative. It's like I felt like from around 2018, 2019 there, as more of us started interacting and sharing our stories of the motherland and breaking the illusions and the projections that had been placed on us. It did something, family, and it has done something. We awakened. And the awakening continues. And there are some who are awakening today, family. And so for us who know what's up, our responsibility now is as much as it is to ourselves, because when we change ourselves, we change the world. And I talk a lot about this a lot on my secondary channel, Dr. Mumbi Spiritual Show. So definitely subscribe to that, family. Check it out. But collectively, because of the law of one, we also now have a responsibility to change the narrative of the motherland. And there's someone who put a comment, I don't know which show I did. And you know, YouTube now, family, they don't give us your names. They just give us a random user name, which is so strange. But anyway, it's not that part of like that disconnection. But anyway. There's someone who left a comment where they were talking about how Africa is not poor, we're broke because of mismanagement, because of greed of our leaders. And it's way deeper than greed, family. They're playing some power games. This is all spiritual. You see, one of the greatest powers, and I feel like I've said this before, but it cannot be said enough. One of the unique characteristics of being on earth is your freedom of choice, which can never be violated. And that is why worlds like these, which some call the contested worlds, takes so long to evolve. And actually, it's like there are multiple timelines that are happening. And what we're doing, family, is we're not trying to create a new timeline for Mama Africa. We're trying to quantum leap Mama Africa into a timeline when she was great. When the motherland was complete with Atlantis and Lemuria and all those things. And the land of Mu, where Mumbi came from. Stories for other days. There's so much I could share, family, but it's just, I'm still trying to see how to do it, whether to do it through seminars, whether to do Dr. Mumbi lives across Africa. I'm really trying to see, because there's certain things that just can't be shared on this platform, but our people need to know about at this time. Because this world, family, when we go deep into the stories of this world and the stories that our ancestors have passed down, when we get into deep meditation and our ancestors visit and commune with us, they tell us that our minds, or the mind of this world, has been wiped several times. completely erased. And that was done on purpose so that they could fill the mind with their reality or the matrix they wanted. The only way Babylon got us into this matrix is because they wiped the memory. And there is something that they've been looking for that is on Mama Africa. That is something I can't really discuss here, but this is not about our gold and our diamonds and our minerals. It's way, way deeper than that, family. Way, way deeper than that. But back to what I was saying in the beginning. Africa is not poor. We're broke because of the mismanagement of our leaders. And we need to change the narrative to that. We need to change the narrative to that. Because a lot of us are stuck in the spell and the projection of poverty. What Babylon has done is project poverty onto the motherland. And then keep us as ignorant as possible. Because you see, in the pyramid, family, at the top where the secret societies are, those are the ones, and the entities from other realms. Those are the ones that control everything. But as you go down, you get more ignorant. And at the very bottom, those people have no idea what is done. So their free will is manipulated. Because Babylon is always looking for loopholes in the rules. So they're not telling people what to do, but they're just withholding so much information from the people that when they suggest things about what the people should do, the people run for that. Africa is not poor. We're broke because of mismanagement, because of the corruption of our leaders. And it's not even so much Babylon corrupting our leaders. What I see, especially in Kenya, is that the leaders also look down on the people. The leaders also believe the stories they've been told, family, about Mama Africa. They believe we're poor. And then them, of course, they get initiated into the crazy cults and everything. So they're on a whole other level. That's a whole other story, family. But we're not poor, we're broke. Poverty is a mindset that almost can't be, fixed. But brokenness is something that can be turned around. And by the African leaders allowing us to perpetuate this story of our poverty, making fun of our people, family, living in mansions, stealing the people's money for highways, to build 5-bedroom homes and leaving the people with no roads, no hospitals, no schools. The reason they're able to do that is because they've placed that label of poverty on the people. Poverty is not just a lack of money, family. Brokenness is a lack of money. Poverty is a curse. It's like when I was trying to do the blackness thing, although people didn't get it, so, And anyway, words take on the meaning we give them. But poverty is lack. A lot of very rich people I used to play with, like golf and stuff, family, when I was in my previous life, were poor. They were poor of spirit. They were poor of intellect. They were freaking boring. And I hung out with so many, so hey, if you think this is about you, then that says a lot about you. But family, Africa is not broke. Africa is not poor, we're broke. And we have to start framing the narrative in that way, so that we can start to see how we change our behavior. Because it's like we're stuck in a time loop that repeats itself every election. They've put Africa on a 5-year time loop, family. and most of the world, but Africa especially. Because this president is still trying to do what the previous president was trying to do, is trying to still do what the previous president is trying to do. And every 5 years we're manipulated to repeat the cycle. We're still trying to build the same highways they were trying to build in the 80s. We're still trying to give our people the same housing. The whole system just doesn't make sense, family. And they've got us in a spiritual time loop. That's why Africa just doesn't change. Although now we're morphing into Babylon. If you look at our cities, it's not an African city. Nairobi is not an African city. Nairobi is a Babylonian city in Africa. If you look at the buildings and how everything is being done, it's like, you know, people will come and be like, oh my God, Nairobi's like a mini London or mini this. Yeah, these are the headquarters of Babylon. We have been in the most abusive relationship of our lives, family, with the colonizer of our minds. And for us to think that we could just physically fight and we got independence, no, the fight continues. Every generation must step up. And there is so much help at our disposal. There is so much we can do, family, with what we have at this time. But remember, it's all about the narrative. Because if we start to change the narrative from something that is shameful and painful, like we are poor people, so all the world is looking down on us, trying to give us food, dumping their used clothes, dumping their used bras, dumping their used, underwears, and then our own people are selling it to us. It's because they think we're poor. We are the richest. If we're talking about poverty versus wealth, it's like those wealthy relatives. Everything of ours is in assets. And because we can't come together as a people, we can't access those assets properly. And so while we're still here arguing, our assets are being stolen. Because we've never been free, and they've been doing what they've been doing because they keep putting us in these crazy illusions where we stay in the same place. Because if you think about it mentally in the revolution, it's only recently that we really started to have the conversations that are necessary about our exploitation, about what's really happening on the motherland. It's a spell, family. But those are stories for other days. Special shout out to our Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us on that platform. If you are a Patreon member, remember you can always email me if you have any questions, because we are in some very tricky times. And to everyone who has sent us a donation through PayPal, there's a gift for you in the mail. Until next time, family. Tuko pamoja.